Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today we are with Prageet and Julieanne talking about from Atlantis to the stars, how the Stargate experience can unlock your forgotten abilities and transform your timeline. And Prageet and Julieanne, there's an alignment in different places around the Earth that I see, according to the special offer and some of the things that we're talking about, that are activating potentials that sat dormant in us that are ready to come into actualization and how we carry that forward. And so it's going to be an amazing call. We're getting into the interdimensional power of sacred geometry and how the Stargate serves as a portal for higher realms, how ancient lifetimes in Atlantis and Lemuria still influence your present timeline, and how to integrate them for freedom and flow, the role of your galactic family in helping you remember and reactivate dormant abilities, and so much more. If some of y'all are new to Prageet and Julieanne, um, Alcazar is the Stargate's guide. And so you're going to find out more about Alcazar and the Stargate. It's channeled by Prageet and Julieanne. And they started channeling Alcazar, respectively. Prageet 35 years ago, Julieanne around 2012, which is about when I started the BTO show.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, which is, I love the alignment with that. Um, but Alcazar, y'all, is a benevolent multidimensional guide. It's actually a group consciousness consistent of ascended beings. And they bring their energies together as one. And this spokesperson, Alcazar, communicates to humanity to assist in our collective awakening. So the mission of the Alcazar group is to share the universal wisdom and energetic support through guided meditations and transmissions. And there's an opportunity with a special offer to go deeper into those meditations and transmissions. Maybe we'll experience one on the call. We don't know. We'll see what comes up. But they're here to support us individually and also inviting us and other beings of light to assist in the process. So again, it's going to be an exciting call. And with that, Prageet, Julieanne, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much, John. It's
Yeah,
great to be with you again.
it's great to be with you, John. Yeah, I'm really excited because there's an energy building. I don't know exactly what's going to be coming out, but I can feel an energetic happening already.
I've been revving up. I've had a lot of just pulsing through me, so I know something's active in the field. Um, let's do a basic start in the beginning for people who may be new to your work. Tell us a little bit more about Alcazar and the Stargate, and then I definitely want to get into the Atlantis Lemurian timelines because there's something quite potent, even more so that we have access to now.
So the Stargate is a sacred geometrical structure. It's channeled sacred geometry that Prageet brought through in 1989. And he has a great story about starting to channel in 88 while he was receiving a massage from a group of friends. So this whole thing came about after he was with Osho for many, many years, which kind of opened him up spiritually. And what Stargate is for the planet is essentially a huge portal bridging higher dimensional frequencies and making them accessible. So it's a bit like we all have internal stargates. The Earth has stargates.
Mm.
And the sacred geometry of the stargate that Prageet channeled emits a high vibrational energy field that vibrates our energy fields, expands our consciousness, and enables us to have direct spiritual experiences.
Yeah, the Stargate actually holds a consciousness, which was initially quite difficult for me to accept how a bunch of pipes could hold a consciousness. But having worked with it for 35 years, what's happened over these times is absolutely incredible. And the beautiful thing about the Stargate work is that there's nothing to do. It's not about doing. It's all about relaxing into an energy field that's created, and you simply relax into it.
So this is the Stargate. We usually have like a 6-foot one
Right behind us.
right behind us, but it's in Sedona, Arizona right now for another activation with a few friends of ours.
I have sat inside the 6 foot Stargate.
You
Absolutely.
actually sat inside the 10.5-foot tall one.
10.5 foot. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I'm ready for another round.
We have all sizes. And it's actually the geometry that makes the energy field. So
Yeah, that's
even
the
this little
amazing
guy
thing.
will do. Yeah, you could fill a room with 1,000 people because it's actually every human being who experiences the Stargate acts as a beacon, so they're a receiver and a transmitter. So the field gets stronger the more people are participating.
Mm. And actually, Alcazar said many times that the Stargate is just to remind you of the abilities that you already have and have forgotten or become disconnected with.
And that's really important because right now, I don't know if you all are feeling it, but I'm sure your people are, John, because on the planet right now, there are these like waves and waves of
Oh yeah.
big energy. And it
Mhm.
can like turn us into like a bit of a tumble dry cycle. But if we're aligned and we know how to like reconnect, it can actually supercharge our awakening process.
Mm.
Mhm. I like to think of it as a spinning top that's starting to topple over a little bit, but when you get back into like that energetic vortex, it allows the spin to go faster, and then it's almost like you're lifting off the ground because you're spinning so
Mm,
well. Yeah.
I
Well,
love that.
yeah, talking about going faster, one of the things that we've been doing are timeline jumps, which was absolutely fascinating because we see the ripple of what's happening in the world as we jump forward into a higher consciousness timeline. And it's incredible. And in fact, there was one that we did. Where was that one that we did where the
Okay, so this is really cool. So in our special offer, there's 3 workshops that start in Shasta in November 2024, our Thanksgiving intensive. And that one, Alcazar said months before that there would be a timeline shift. And I'm like, okay, sure. But what happened is like the workshop's going on, and on the third day, after lunch, Galactic Command comes in, surrounds the entire room in like an energetic cocoon, connects us into Mount Shasta with like this like wormhole effect, and
Mm.
the timeline jump happens. But later that night, the Schumann resonance went offline. Like, and I was
yeah, the Schumann resonance was actually stopped vibrating for 7 hours.
shows this,
What?
yeah, no, it
Yes.
shows this like big black, like it lost its signal, and the camera almost just did that. And so we were like, oh wow, but all of these like TikTokers and Instagrammers started to make these videos, like timeline jump just happened, and we were just like, whoa. And and we didn't
Wow.
know if like the machine had malfunctioned. So we were like, oh, like we don't know what this really is. And then just like a few days ago, we were asking ChatGPT to do some
Mm.
research and find out what really happened. And it turns out that there actually was a true signal loss.
Yeah.
The machines were still functioning. And I guess these things can happen with the Schumann resonance when there's like a solar flare and a geomagnetic storm coinciding.
And there weren't
That's
either of those things.
Well, no, there were.
Oh, there
Yeah,
were?
yeah, absolutely. And they started before the timeline jump, but it's like if we're working, I was thinking about it, I'm like, we're working with the Galactic Command. Like it may be that somehow all of these things, like, because Alcazar said months before that would happen. I'm
Yeah.
like that's
What are the effects of
wild.
the timeline jump? What did we leapfrog over?
Yeah. Well, Alcazar said for that one in particular, it was for our personal timelines.
Mm.
And every single one is different, but in effect, it's always about raising the frequency so that you go into a higher reality. Like, so things can be circumvented. You can't always really know what you're shifting. We did one recently that was about dissolving the energy of hatred at the end of June.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. November 2024 coincides where I had a very internal process and it felt like everything just paused. And
Mhm.
it was just like a building up within myself, if you will.
Mhm.
Like again, getting the top spinning properly again.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
it's a solo journey, but there's so much assistance simultaneously, right? With
Yeah.
that. So that's really
That,
wonderful.
that tracks with the personal timeline
Mm.
focus. And that was on November 30th, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow, that makes so much sense to me. And also, you're speaking about the Atlantis and Lemurian timelines
Mhm.
and what's
Mm.
coming through. And what's fascinating, because I was going through the special offer and I was in Azores a year and a half ago, and
Oh,
you've got the
cool.
energy from
Wow.
there. you've got the Maui frequency coming in. I'm on Kauai, as you guys are aware. So and I was in Mount Shasta 3 months before November also. So all of these places are like they're calling several of us into
Hmm.
some type of relational dynamic where it's serving us, but somehow we're of service to it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we were in the Azores like 2 years ago, was it? When we worked with the energies of Lemuria and Atlantis.
Mhm.
And we were there at that time where Alcazar was bringing those energies back into harmony and helping and sending out basically a field that would help people let go of their judgments
Mhm.
about Atlantis and its downfall and their part in it, or what judgment about it. And similarly, for Lemuria, also, a lot of people carried pain and suffering about the slow sinking of Lemuria and having to leave.
Mhm.
So we brought those energies together. And then last year, when we were there, it was using that energetic, and it was perhaps one of the most powerful workshops that we've ever done.
Well, Alcazar called it freedom and flow.
Mhm.
And that theme was just woven in so beautifully. So we were effectively releasing a lot of the heaviness from I mean, essentially, if you look at Earth's timeline, after Atlantis and Lemuria, after the flood, there was like this dissension in consciousness where like things became very, very heavy on the planet for a very long time, and we're lifting
Mhm.
out of that now. So as we're lifting out of that and we're starting to hit high energetics, there's a resonance coupling with the energies of Atlantis and Lemuria. So like it's like we're releasing this baggage, but we're also bringing the gifts back online at the same time.
It's so coincides with next. You asked me about my trip to Egypt last
Yes.
September, and while we were in Egypt, also we were in a particular process in one of the chambers in the King's Valley, and it was profound. And we're guided to stand in a particular spot, and we actually had a Hawaiian elder medicine woman that was there, and she started chanting and started bringing things up, and I could feel like these lines reconnecting that seemed almost like they had completely atrophied. Not completely. There's a little bit of a pulse left, but not much. And I felt it reigniting. And I got her presence, my presence carrying the energy from Kauai. There are also other people that were joining in the group and what was ready to be activated because of so much of consciousness that you and Alcazar and people like us and just those who are like really awakening consciously to the contributions again that are being given to us through these technologies and this assistance by benevolent
Mhm.
beings, but by the earth as well. It's profound what's happening right now.
It really
Absolutely.
is.
I was surprised on our trip to Egypt. In the hieroglyphs, there were so many mentions of the Stargate.
Stargates, yeah.
It blew us
And
away.
there's the hieroglyph like has like I think like four symbols when they talk about like Stargate, like the word Stargate, Saba, which means Stargate, and one of them's like a foot, so it's like quite funny. They also like, did you see the helicopter and the
Oh
spaceship?
God, yeah. And then there are, yeah.
So
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's quite fascinating. So how are these lifetimes of Atlantis and Lemuria influencing us right now? And how are they guiding us into what we're evolving into?
Well, where humanity is as like on a societal level, it's we're kind of poised to like effectively we're in this time of like extremes. So
Mm,
there's this like this, like the Chinese proverb, maybe you live in interesting times, like the chaos and everything that's happening right now, but also like just this incredible potential for awakening that's
mm,
happening right alongside it. And so to me, like this is where a lot of our memories from Atlantis in particular get triggered because like we were in a high society and it fell so hard. So
mm,
there's like a part of us I think that's like can be in a bit of panic. Or like at least it's like some of that trauma is like echoing right now. So that was a lot of the work that we did in Azores was like shifting that, um,
Mm,
and reclaiming like the purest essence of Atlantis because there were different eras.
mm,
So there's this like so there's this incredible beauty of who we truly are that we kind of like have imprinted because so many of us were on the planet at that time. And in that society, Atlantis or Lemuria or whatever those high civilizations, we got to experience what it's like to be incarnate and have the remembrance of who we truly are, have our higher dimensional skills, abilities, all the
Mm.
clear senses. So this is where we are again. We're so close to making these quantum leaps where we reclaim that knowingness, not because somebody told us about it, but because we actually have access.
And
mm,
many people, because they were going on for hundreds of years, those two societies, so many people have actually experienced being in both.
Mm.
mm,
And the Lemurian society was very much about community and connecting to the earth and family and connecting to the stars. Atlantis was more technological and investigative. And so when we worked in the Azores, we brought the best of those worlds together and merged them, which is where we're going now. And
mm.
that's just, I mean, it's happening out in the world. The beautiful thing about this conference that we went to is all these people with amazing projects.
Oh, you didn't tell them about that yet. It was before we went live. The human plus tech, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So go ahead.
So Prageet's referencing the Stargate got invited to a tech conference in San Francisco via a friend of ours who's like this beautiful networker. And and we actually got this amazing spot. There were like 700 people there over 3 days. It was called Human Plus Tech Week. And they were really looking at like how these new innovations, particularly AI, are changing the landscape, but how humans can actually thrive in that context rather than this like, extraction economy that's just also a danger with. So like this technology, the path is being written right now of like how it's going to exist. It's like an infant. So they're
Mhm.
like, how do we teach this infant? Like how, like, and it was really fascinating. Because one of the things that they were saying is that the really good jobs that will be created from AI don't exist yet because they haven't been imagined.
Mm,
And it really inspired me because I was like, wow, if we like endeavor to solve, like to really tackle the big problems of our age using these new technologies, it will generate such a like thriving, like a new space where like, yeah, innovation happens from need, right? So anyway, Stargate got this epic spot. There's like a main stage and there were two side stages and like events just happening all day. And Stargate was like 10 and a half foot Stargate right between the main stage and the two side stages. So it was like wild. And we had people with noise canceling headphones experiencing the Stargate. And I was really feeling vulnerable on the first day. Like I went to college at UCSC, like pretty nearby, and
mhm,
just to like bridge what I do now with this like very businessy world, yeah, I was like not sure how it would be received, but it was really amazing because people were really open to having experiences. And we even had like a queue at one point. So it was like we estimated probably about 200 people.
Mm. But the beautiful thing was that these people were working with AI in a positive, beautiful, human supportive way, bringing in all kinds of different technologies to support the land, to support community and cities and health.
Yeah.
It was really
And
beautiful.
spirituality.
And spirituality, it was wonderful.
And
That's
oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
I
Sorry.
was going to say, what's beautiful and what you mentioned is that, and we've been seeing this, we talk about this on the show quite a bit. It's like we can't even imagine where we're going or how good it's like it's revealing itself to us now. And the technology is really mirroring our spiritual consciousness, our cosmic consciousness in
Mhm.
different ways, and they're rising together. And one of the gifts that I've always seen from the very beginning of AI as it requires our input, it's that it's teaching us how to ask better questions. The better question we ask, the greater the output for our benefit is.
Totally. And it's also just supercharging our creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So like the more clarity we hold through the creative process, like the more like it can just like fast track us. And that's really exciting to me too, from what I've seen. But Alcazar had these two ideas that were really interesting going in. He was saying that like so much of these tech people, their motivation is like egotistical, which is whatever, it is what it is. But he's like, if they can move more into the heart, then they can start to create from like a much higher place. So that was one of our intentions for being there. And the other thing he said was that they don't realize that so many of their innovations are actually downloads that are being seeded from galactics.
Yeah, he said we seed into the field,
Yeah.
I got chills.
and then people think that they've created something, but really they've just drawn it in and made it physical.
Wow. Wow, it's amazing what's coming through. With all of the shifts and everything that you're changing, the timelines merging and reigniting, I'll call it. Um, the reconciliation of past trauma into new potentials. What are you feeling currently in the field of consciousness? What's your personal experience? What's expanding within you? And what is Alcatraz, um, Alcazar, excuse me.
That's okay.
Um,
That happens a lot.
We were very
what's
close to Alcatraz.
right?
Picked up on that.
What's Alcazar sharing as far as these waves that we're riding lately?
Hmm. Well, there's so much. In
Mm,
fact,
it's a big question
when
here.
you mention his name, I can feel him coming in. So,
Yeah, I'm getting the chills also as you're saying that. Wow.
beloved one, we
Mm,
greet thee, 'tis Alcazar, and it is indeed a great honor to be talking with you in this way.
mm,
There are waves of consciousness moving around your earth. There are groups who are creating energetics to support the raising of consciousness. And this wave moves around. And for those who are open in the moment to be touched by this energy, they feel uplifted. They move from depression and misery to hope. And so there is much occurring around your planet where people were suffering, where their energies were low, they were deep unconscious, they were fearful about what is happening in the world. And these energetics that we work with and we radiate around the world, it touches so many. For example, if they're asleep and they are more relaxed, their minds are a little quieter, they are more open to receive this uplift in their consciousness. And so there are many ways that we are working to support humanity as a whole. But then there are those who experience the deeper work that we do through the various gatherings around the world. And I believe you're going to be sharing some of these with your audience.
mm,
In these gatherings, we move very deeply, working energetically with the individuals who join us, or the individuals who join us through the live streams and the recordings. Because the way that we are working energetically is in the quantum field. Therefore, those energies are always there, beyond time and space. And so, beloved one, with your recordings, for example, people can relax, listen to them, and feel the energetic transmissions that were happening in the quantum field in those different locations. And so there is so much more available to people right now, even those who are totally unaware of the potential for humanity. Those
mm,
who are trapped in negativity, sadness, misery, they too can be uplifted And that is part of the work that we are doing here.
So, if you wish, there's a metaphor we can give about what is happening right now. So, if you imagine that the mind, the human mind, is like a box, and this box has been very dark for eons, since perhaps the fall of Atlantis, this great flood that your ancients talk about. And what is happening now is that the Earth's energy fields and the energetics of your universe that are able to be here, they have been shielded. There has been a kind of dense shield protecting the Earth since the fall of Atlantis. And this correlates with the work of Zeza, who is a friend of ours. And what has been happening is that this shield has been dissolved. This heavy shroud around the Earth has been dissolving. And so if you imagine the box of the human mind and the field of the Earth, you could imagine it becomes like the northern lights. This universal energy is coming to your planet. And as the northern lights are there, it is as if this box walls become more and more translucent, and people more and more are able to look out and say, wow, there is a beauty out there. There is an upliftment. And so, beloveds, we wish for you to truly understand. Do not get distracted by the chaos of the world. There is an opportunity to uplift your entire human species right now. The upliftment is not being triggered so much even by the spiritual people, although of course you are the ones, the only ones who can anchor and expand and radiate this light through the morphic fields. But this is a cosmically triggered time. There is the ending of the Kali Yuga cycle and the moving into a new phase. There are so many indications, cosmic indications of the time that you are in. It is simply time. So you are riding the big waves of awakening. And what also happens as you become more connected to the quantum field and that box becomes more transparent, there is the need to let go of the old. Because when you are more transparent, you can feel everything. So gentle with yourselves. Okay.
Beautiful. Well, what's really inspiring about what you share, and again, I'm having personal experiences in this more amplified than ever before, where I'll feel my nervous system get revved up and I'll be into, I've got to do this, I got to do that, there's a lot of got to do's, a lot of being in action. And I find that I truly find my centers when I can just drop into presence and open to receive. And a lot of what you share in the transmissions, it's like it requires no techniques. It's just being in an environment that really supports the ascensionary energies that are coming through. And I'd love it if you share more about that.
Well, that's the beauty of the Stargate work. It creates an energetic field, bringing in all kinds of different energetics and guidance. Right now, there's never been so many ET craft around our planet that are here to support us. And that's a difficult concept for many people initially. But we've been working with them for 35 years, and they bring in such loving presence. It's a delight. And what we found is people start to relax and open up to their energy. And many people are beginning to realize from their own experience that they've lived elsewhere before they came to be human. They've lived in some of these other planetary civilizations that are far more advanced than us. And we were invited to come and have this experience, what Alcazar calls the human experience experiment. Because he says what's happening here, as we evolve and we are humanity is creating a wonderful energy of compassion, which is going to be shared with the universe, because not everything is perfect out there right now, which is why we've come from all these different civilizations to mix and merge our DNA and to create something extremely new in our little corner of the universe.
It's beautiful.
Mm.
And I can feel, again, when you start speaking of that, again, just chills running through my body, and just the presence that's felt just energetically by receiving what you're saying. Um, those galactic, as they're coming in, I get that there's assistance, there's benevolence, there's so much support. How is that related to our galactic family?
Hmm.
Well, the crafts are basically people from our galactic families. They've all come together. There's literally dozens of craft out there. There's even what we've learned recently is there's a human planet on the other end of the spiral arm of the Milky Way. So we're at one end of one spiral arm, at the far end of the other spiral arm. There's a planet of humans just like us who haven't gone through that incredible depth of misery and suffering and unconsciousness. They have simply accelerated and become what we would call enlightened here. And
Mm,
they have come, and there's craft with them there, and they've started to work with us. And it was Cesar actually that introduced us to them. And we've been working with these cosmic humans, as we call them, in the different workshops. And they come in, and it's like being embraced by the dear, dear friend or your
mm.
mother,
Well,
or
people are having amazing
yeah.
experiences
Wow.
because they carry the human template for ascension. Their energetics are able to like really rock our
Mm.
world.
Wow.
Um, and there's just for anyone who doesn't know, Zazar, who Pri and Alcazar are both mentioned, is channeled by Marilyn Bewake, who's a friend of ours and just very multidimensional guide who's
Mm.
providing us with like a level of expansion that's really beautiful. And then, John, I wanted to speak to what you're saying about like the to-do lists in the mind being like, and
Yeah.
like, actually, Alcazar wanted to say something. Beloved ones, we circle back to this because it is very important at this time to recognize there are pulses of creativity alongside this higher energy. It is activating your human potential to create. And so we say to you, refine your vision
Mhm.
consistently. Ask yourself, where am I putting my energy? Because it is so easy to spin into these menial tasks. Understand that that same creative energy, it is beautiful to use it to create your projects in the world. But understand there is this seed energy within that same creative impulse, wishing to take you higher, to skyrocket your consciousness. So be very selective and remember to turn it inward, not just outward.
Mhm.
I think a
Beautiful.
lot of people are also experiencing that time is accelerating.
Yeah.
It's like it's morning and then it's evening, and what
Yeah.
happened in
Mhm.
between kind of a feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the physical body adjusting to the different
Hmm.
energies. A lot of the Schumann resonance that's been running so powerfully in the last few weeks. A lot of the making sense of, again, time and synchronicities and lack of time. And there's just a lot flowing through that
Mm.
seems to be moving so quickly, but somehow we're prepared for it. It's all happening because we're capable of receiving it.
It feels a bit like with these higher ascension energies, there's also like a level of forgetfulness, and
Hmm.
that's been explained by like we're actually forgetting the denser memories that like we don't really need anymore.
Mhm.
But because time is accelerated and there's that element, it's just there's like this kind of like wonky and fantastical feeling that we're just kind of showing up for like this journey. It's like a ride. It's like we can't track reality in the same way that we used to.
No, we're in the funhouse.
Yeah, we are in it, like for real.
It-
And it's funny because John, like we've spoken like through the years. So it's interesting to like take like the pulse on where we've been in the past. And it's like
Mhm.
there's no comparison to where we are right now.
Mm.
No, none. If we look 5 years behind where we were and where we are now, it's huge.
Yeah.
I can only imagine 5 years from now. And I want to mark this time for all of us on this call and listen on the replay. Really like mark this time and 5 years from now, just hold that steady. I don't think we're going to be able to recognize ourselves.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. And society too.
in
I mean,
society.
Yeah, we don't have the ability to imagine what it's going to be like because it hasn't been created yet.
it's
Mhm.
interesting. Like there's this human design prophecy about the year 2027 that like essentially like this mutation is going to happen in humanity, and we move from being like mental and survival based to like this like intuitive, emotional, spiritual mutation that links us up to create and exist in a whole new way.
Mm.
Oh my God, finally I might fit in, right?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, like for real though. Like we came here
Right.
like as like heralds of this change, like the
Mhm.
ones of us who are drawn to this work, who have been open to having these experiences. And it's like, I mean, the thing about the mystical is it's always going to be a mystery. However, it exists, and these high vibrational energy fields that we work with Stargate, like the whole reason I got into it in 2012 instead of becoming a medical doctor is because they are so far out in how fast they can expand our consciousness. And so the
Mhm.
whole world, more and more, is going to be bathing in these energies. And it's like we're going to be able to see things. And my hope is that like all of the imbalances that we're seeing now, like can circle back into compassion in the way that like when you go through the deepest crisis, you actually cultivate the deepest compassion.
I agree. And for me, again, it's that spinning top. Some of those tops are wobbling really hard, but
Mm.
again, we get in vibrational accord and it all lifts and it aligns. And then we grow together from there. That top actually expands in its potency.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, people that have been with us for a while, they say they look back over what's been happening and they've changed so much. And
Mm,
there's nothing necessarily obvious that's created that change except just staying in these energies. And it transforms people, even on a physical level. People's bodies change effortlessly. It's amazing.
Rebalancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
wow.
just a realigning to what Alcazar calls your perfect blueprint, your perfect human
Mhm.
blueprint. And it's fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
And you guys have the best job ever
Hmm.
to get to run around the world and bring coherence into people's lives through just it's an act of love to show up and be present.
Mm.
And that's what
Somebody said to me this morning, isn't it wonderful that you get to see all these beautiful countries? And I said, well, we see lots of hotels and airports.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're changing that too, because it's like this is the thing, we create our own realities. And so like we've had this like deep desire to actually get off the treadmill, and it's challenging.
Mm.
Like because we're so like there's a level of ambition that the Stargate itself has. Like it wants to reach people. And this is like a funny thing to manage. Is like we're like humans and we're like, okay, like so interesting. And I think everyone is in that dance now.
Hmm.
Time is the new like greatest abundance. But the thing is we can choose to create these pockets of super high quality time. And this is one of the things, like you say, like to show up and be present is a great gift. What we really do in Stargate workshops is we show up and we like effectively the field grows to a point where we as a collective get to experience new heights every single time.
Mm.
So we show up for the like magical opening to the universe, that then leaves us like enhanced in
Oh.
new and varied ways every single time. And so, and there is that like interesting facet where because we're elevating, there's a part of us that we drop away. And so it's like you talk about those to-do lists, it's like we have to reconnect with them. It's like so funny. It's like,
But
yeah,
it's, yeah, it's such a delight kind of sharing this work. I mean,
it's amazing.
when people get assisted to elevate up their awareness up into a craft for the first time, it blows them away. But to bilocate into a spacecraft,
Oh, wow.
some of these
Oh, they're
craft,
bilocating into a spacecraft?
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't experienced that with you guys yet. I need to dive in.
Yeah, Alcazar has this one meditation that he hasn't done it in years, but they would bring a craft in another dimension, and they can only do this when we have like an isolated space. If there are other people not participating, they won't do it.
Hmm.
But they'll bring the
Small
craft
craft.
in another dimension down through the group, and Alcazar will like describe like it's at the ceiling and like now it's coming through, and then they'll thin the veils and you get to feel energetically what it feels like to be on one of the craft.
You actually
Wow.
feel it
I'm
moving through
feeling you
your
doing it
body.
right now. I'm like, whoa, I'm so sensitive right now. It's crazy.
And the
Oh,
thing
it's
is that
beautiful.
those people who have inner vision, they can see the craft, they see the beings there, and get very excited, telling us all what they're seeing.
And we did a workshop once where two people had inner vision and they were comparing notes and they were so excited because they were seeing the same
Yeah.
things. And
Mm.
and there was a different one where there was a GoPro camera because we were live streaming it. And the guy who was operating the camera like ran over to us after this session with the craft ended. And the GoPro got scrambled as soon as the craft came down. Like the visuals were
Wow.
so crazy. But the wild thing is when it left, it went back to being perfectly normal.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What's really wonderful about what you're facilitating is that people who are participating with this technology, whether in person, through the recordings, again, it can be remote, um, that once you have a direct experience, you can't deny it anymore. It's something inside
Right.
you triggers open, and it's always open.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
always open.
the funny thing is, like the mind can still be unsure, but you on a experiential level, you always know what it feels like to feel those energies. So like I mean, for example, like we had like way back in like early days, there was this kid who's like in his mid 20s or something in Ibiza. And he came, I think he was American, but he came to one of our workshops and he was so confused because he was like, I don't believe in any of this stuff, but I feel like a super like hero when I'm in the field. It's just like
Mhm.
he couldn't reconcile that, like these two. So it's like, yes, John, like you can't deny it anymore. But
Right.
the thing is, like, there's another level of knowing that's coming, which is it's more than the energetic experiences, which do lead to annoyingness, right? Like you feel the angels bringing their energy in, and you feel the Pleiadians. And for some people, like for me, like who are feelers, you can feel the distinctive difference between these two guides
Mm.
when you're in the field. And you know that like, okay, there's something happening here. But there's like there's a higher mind
Mm.
that we all have access to, our superconscious. And people are starting to catch glimpses. And I think that's where the undeniability will really set in.
Well, we're chiseling at the stone little by little, and it's really
Yeah.
opening something up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so here's what's really fascinating about that is like, this is really interesting. So Alcazar has given us this concept that these higher dimensional skills and abilities, like accessing superconscious mind, are in our higher dimensional DNA. And
Mm.
you can have 99% of that skill, like inner vision, for example, activated, but it's not until the last 1% comes online that your inner vision.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So there's like, it's a bit like boiling water. There's like a
Mm.
potentiation that's happening. So we're all in this. And like, you know, that's why they feel like quantum leaps. They've
Mm.
actually been potentiated all along. But when they come online and we know and notice them.
And that's what's
It-
so exciting for us, seeing that happening in the different gatherings.
And so I guess they're a bit like switches.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's that alchemical point where it's just that boiling point where it just like goes. But you have to
Yeah.
wait. It's like watching a water boil. It's like,
Yes.
hurry up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hurry up.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really sensing humanity is moving toward.
Yeah.
Those switches are going to start to flip. And people are
That-
like, oh, I have superpowers.
Super excited. I'd love to do a couple of things with y'all. First of all, before the end of the call, can we get into a transmission?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Y'all prepare for that. Get ready. So we're going to do that towards the end of the call. I want to open up to some Q&A because I think there's some good questions coming through from the audience,
Great.
if that's possible. And before we do that, I want to make sure that we go through the special offer because, again, the energy from Azores, the energy from the Hawaiian Islands are so strong and what you're bringing through these gatherings for us to just sit and receive. Just sit and receive. It's like, what a gift for our nervous system, our minds, for as a loving container for the places where we're inhabiting also, because we serve the earth when we open and expand in that energy as well. And something gets amplified when we allow, when we allow. And so I really think that this offer is truly special because you're guiding us into that point of alchemy
Yeah.
that is accessible through the group consciousness that you're facilitating, but that others were participating as well in those live groups. So y'all, I want to invite everybody, click on the special offer button that's right underneath the video where you're watching the live call or the replay from. And you can also access a special offer. The link is in the chat box. Chris just typed it in. You can click on that as well. And Julianne or Prajeet, whoever's going to guide us, let us know what the transmissions and what others are going to receive when they go deeper with you.
So these are essentially 3 of our most powerful workshops that we've done in the past year. It starts with this Thanksgiving one where we show up for our workshop in Mount Shasta. This one wasn't live streamed, so it's audio only. And Alcazar says there's a meeting in the mountain. The masters are meeting. And it's
Wow.
Sananda, Sanat Kumara, and Saint Germain.
Mm.
And like essentially the whole workshop, the energy was off the charts and it culminated in that personal timeline shift that we talked about that actually coincided with the Schumann resonance losing the signal for 7 hours. So like the fact that like spirit is able to orchestrate something like that is quite astounding. But just that, the thing with all of these Stargate workshops is it's one thing to experience a single meditation like we'll share with you tonight. It's another thing entirely to dive deeply into that transformational energy field because like what happens in our workshops is like
Well,
the
it builds
field
and
builds
builds. Yeah.
and builds and then these amazing things can happen.
I mean, for that workshop, to have the experience of Sananda or Jesus coming into the room,
Oh yeah, and there was
feeling his presence.
this big
I mean, I'm actually starting feeling it now, just recalling it. It's like when those masters come into the meditations, it is so strong. And like I said before, it's in the quantum field, so it's always available. So if you choose to listen to these, put a headphone on, listen and relax in a chair or lie down if you're not going to go to sleep, but just totally relax and nothing to do. Just follow along and you'll feel the energy building around you and within you. And as it builds within, that's what starts to create your personal change, a realignment with your personal human blueprint.
And a lot of people use the Stargate meditations actually when they can't sleep. Or they'll use, so it's what we're actually creating is an awakened state. So if you have some kind of funky thing that's gripping you, what these energies do is they take you beyond the mind. So they can dissolve all kinds of things. So you can use it in that way too. It's like a navigating the earth changes. It's a really cool tool. So you'll get a bunch of meditations. So the special
Maui was the
offer,
next one, right?
it has 3 of these multi-day experiences. So Maui was a series of transmissions that we did in February 2025 from the energy of the North Shore of Maui. And the Galactic Command came in to work with us in the re-remembering of higher dimensional skills and abilities.
Wow.
And the third is the Azores. So we were there in May of 2025. And it's so funny because every single workshop we basically like, this is the most powerful one yet. And we had to stop saying it, but after Azores, we said it again because it was like,
Yeah.
It was a quantum leap in the Stargate energetics.
it was just off the charts. And we were working with lineages. So with not just Atlantis, Lemuria, but also the spiritual lineages that carried forth like the Essenes and the Knights Templar. Like, so even through, like the Knights Templar were an order of medieval knights who were actually interested in reclaiming the knowledge from Atlantis. And they were also reclaiming and recreating resurrection rituals. So like the real meaning of resurrection that the Essenes knew. So they were accessing extremely high states and preserving ancient wisdom. So it was really fascinating to dive into those lineages. And we had a friend of ours, Eugenia, who is Portuguese and has connections with the Essenes and like the Joan of Arc and the Knights Templar lineages with us. So the energy with that was just truly beautiful. But the thing with like the Knights Templar, for example, at one point, the church turned on them and they were essentially decimated. So it's like that was a theme that came up mid workshop, was like this heaviness that was being transmuted. And for me personally, like it was my birthday over that workshop. I had like a really deep process. I was like sad, like just
Wow.
deep sadness for like 2 days. And then the final day of the workshop, it was like the sun was shining. Like, and like, oh, this thing is, this was collective during the workshop. And it was like, we hit the craziest, most beautiful highs. And Alcazar was talking like through the whole workshop, weaving this theme of freedom and flow.
So you have some questions.
Yeah, sorry.
We do. No, this is fantastic. But this is really important though, because again, the transmissions from the Azores, I had personal experiences there also. What you're speaking about, the Knights Templars, I had visions and being taken in there and different rituals that were performed, which were amazing. So, and as you're speaking about this, again, my whole body's been getting the chills, like off and on in our conversation today. So th we have such refined access in ways that we haven't before. That we're all becoming
Yeah.
much more empathically attuned, connected, and opened in such a way that these transmissions are really landing and embodying in ways that they never had the opportunity to before.
Yeah, and so something interesting is we were researching Knights Templar because I was in Portugal before I came to Azores this year. But what we realized is that the Knights Templar provided the funding for Portugal to become a seafaring nation. They were collecting all this treasure. They also funded the American Revolutionary War, which is wild. They
Oh,
buried treasure
interesting.
in the
Okay.
Americas. So they
Wow.
found this out through, Guy TV shows. And like, I was like, maybe they had something to do with the discovery of the Azores. And then like Eugenia found this whole document like outlining that like the Knights Templar actually discovered the Azores before the official timeline of Portugal discovering it and kept it a secret for like 200 years and used it as a
Wow.
place to do ritual and be in, because the Azores were discovered with no inhabitants, no human inhabitants. So and they're in the middle of the Atlantic. So this is part of why it's like this like pristine energy.
Mm.
They call it the Hawaii of the Atlantic.
Mhm.
It's like
European Hawaii.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's and it's profound. It's volcanic. It's lush in the same way. There's so much abundance and so verdant as well. But
Yeah.
there's a connection that's amplified through Gaia in the essence of again how rich that energy is that flows through there. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, we could do a whole thing just about the Templars because they went on to Florianopolis in Brazil, and we're going to be heading that way
oh
later
wow.
this year. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow. I love what you guys are doing and just again just opening up these portals for all of us to
Mm.
access and really come into that potentiality that is awakening within us into actualization. All right, y'all. So the special offer, it's $97. It's a $300 value. Um, and you'll get the downloads right away. And again, just when you dive in, go in, just intend to receive. And for me in my meditations also, as I'm going and just getting into a still space, I actually activate an energy and a consciousness of gratitude, of openness, that the opportunity to sit in stillness brings me into bliss state. And whenever I get into that, it feels like whatever I am interacting with simultaneously has an opportunity to amplify in my field as well.
Mm.
Mm.
What's your experience with that?
Well, I think what you've described is beautiful. And the nice thing about these energies is even for those people that find it difficult to slow the mind or to get into a still space, it takes them there. It
Mm,
actually softens the chatter, and slowly, slowly, people effortlessly are taken up into these high vibrations, these high dimensions. And it's really amazing. I mean, my mind used to be really, really fast and chattery, but now I can drop into this stillness quite easily.
mm. And just as a very simplistic, whenever we dropped into this consciousness, limiting beliefs that don't serve us fade away.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's like an action taking ability gets awakened whenever we thought we were stuck, couldn't see clearly, didn't know how to move forward. Like th that sense of being able to move forward and not stuck in the spin of confusion becomes much more profound. Um, and then there's also, for me, also, it's been beautiful. And the deeper I dive into this awakening consciousness and that stillness, it's like more and more I'm realizing that there's n no way that I could ever be alone. Like that sense of loneliness or being rejected or
Hmm.
not belonging. It's just not alive in the field where it used to be, where abandonment and limiting beliefs ran rampant. This
Hmm.
is more awakened as a truth rather than something that was confusing my field.
Yeah, it's very fascinating because for lifetimes we've thought that this is all there is, this physical reality.
Mm,
This is the whole function of the Stargate is like the training wheels to remind your bioelectric field and the part of your nervous system that's actually tuned to experience higher dimensions,
mm,
how to connect into those fields. And it reminds us that there's nothing to fear because who we truly are is just magnificent.
mm,
This is like a little journey that we're on here. Like Earth is not our home, it's our school.
mm. I have a question for Alcazar.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What is Alcazar's interpretation of God?
You know, my favorite thing Alcazar ever said about God is that this one workshop, Alcazar was like, we've talked to so many beings, these incredibly high beings, like higher than we are, and we've asked them all, like, who is God?
Mm.
And none of them could answer us.
Wow. Or chills again.
Yeah. And he was like, so like God is a mystery even to us.
Wow. That makes me happy. Yeah.
My
Ah,
feeling is it's just a vast, imaginably vast consciousness
Hmm.
mm,
experiencing through us. And we have a little part of that consciousness within us. And this consciousness is drawing all these experiences and growing and evolving and guiding and just having a good time through us and with us.
Wow.
Another thing Alcazar said is this whole reality, all of it is just God dreaming.
Mm. Well, Einstein said this is a complete illusion,
But a very
but
persistent one.
persistent one. Yeah.
Very persistent one.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Again, the link for the special offer, y'all, to go deeper and for the transmissions. Again, we're going to experience a transmission in a little bit. The link's in the chat box, and you can find the special offer button underneath the video where you're watching the call now. Again, it's $97. There's a two-payment option. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. It makes it super easy to dive in. And if it, for whatever reason it doesn't resonate, it's no foul, no harm. Is that the thing? But what an
Yep.
amazing opportunity to dive in. So I highly recommend what's available. And with that, let's go into some Q&A. And Linda, let's go to you. Welcome with your beautiful smiling face.
Hi, Linda.
Hi. Oh, I love you guys so much. I have been following you like forever, I swear, on YouTube. I've always wanted to come and visit and be under the Stargate because I thought, oh my goodness, that would be the most awesome experience of my entire life. But
Mm.
I've always had a resonance with Lemuria and Atlantis, and I'm sure I probably had some kind of lifetime there at some point in time. Um, I just don't know if I was part of like being part of the fall or being part of the growth of it. It'd be kind of interesting to find out where that is. But I like what you said about God, because all of us are God incarnate anyway, and we're all one. Um, and they always said just single source, right?
And so, beloved one, your mind wants to know are you the good guy or the bad guy?
Yes.
Reality is not like that.
Mm.
You are on a learning trajectory through hundreds of lifetimes. You have all been the bad guys, you have all been the good guys. And through the experiencing that you have had, you start to realize that you no longer want to live in those lower vibrations, the harmful vibrations. You start to yearn to live in love, in community, in oneness, in abundance, in health, in friendship, in travel. You start to desire these things. And that desire from you and the whole of humanity, more and more people are desiring to live in these beautiful ways. And it is that desire, that field of desire, that is drawing the higher consciousness into reality. And now we can bring support from your star families, from the multitude who are here waiting to assist, who are assisting in many ways. But beloveds, can you imagine the day when the crafts descend and we walk amongst you? It will be a day of such celebration. There will be no fear on the planet. There will be an incredible sense of love. And so, Linda, beloved one, do not worry about what you have done so many thousands of years ago. Simply focus on who you are now. And your smile radiates such a beauty. It is a
Thank
joy
you.
to see it. Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you, Linda. Blessings.
Thank you, John.
It's nice to see you.
It's good to see you too, Julianne.
So I grew up in New York in the late 70s, early 80s, and I had family who lived in the Bronx and Harlem, and there's just some places in the neighborhood that you just don't go into.
Mm.
Especially at different times, you just don't go. It's you know that trouble's just brewing. Is it the same in the Galactics? Just some places and some beings that we just don't necessarily want to interact with or have discernment with. Um, because it's not necessarily in alignment with what we want to be creating.
Beloved one, for a very long time, we have been taking care of the earth. It is not possible for beings such as the ones that you describe to be here. You are a protected species, so to speak. We are here to encourage you in the awakening. You have lived far too long in the darkness of unconsciousness, being manipulated by many different energetics, the so-called rulers who have taken and taken and taken and used manipulation in armies to control. And so you do not need this anymore. You are not calling for this anymore. There are so few people now on your earth wanting to live in that way. And that too will be changing. And so one thing about the Bronx and the ghettos, somebody asked, what happens to those slave owners in the past who were so cruel and so mean to the slaves? And we said they will simply get reborn in the next life in the ghettos to experience that level of pain and suffering and what it does to humanity.
Beautiful. It feels like many of us are in periods of personal reconciliation, if you will, reincarnating in the same body, but feeling in this same physical body, the retribution, the coming to terms, the recognition of what came through. And it's engendering a compassion like we've never had before because we're that much more aware of the cause and effect of how we show up.
Yeah.
Um, so it's fascinating what's coming through in our capacity for compassion and understanding and how deep it is, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exciting times, exciting times. Prageet, Julieanne, excuse me. I would love to get into an experience. Would you guys be open to that now?
It feels like it's time.
Yeah.
Do you want to give any intentions for this one?
Oh my goodness. The intention that we can feel the support of what in our human reality we're navigating so that it buoys this beautiful process that is really taking us into such beautiful places. Um, so the support, the feeling of buoyancy, and and the feeling of family also, which is wonderful.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah,
So we usually turn our camera off. Do you want to? Yeah.
I'll turn my camera off as well.
Okay.
yeah, we do this just to support you closing your eyes and relaxing, because it's really important just to totally relax into this energetic that will be building around us. So during this short meditation, we're going to be asking you to invite one or two things. The first thing will be, in a moment, we'll be asking you to call for the energy of the earth, the consciousness of the earth, Gaia, to come up into your body. This meditation is the kind of meditation that we always start workshops off with because it starts to build a field. And then in the workshops, we go on and get higher and higher and broader and bring in all kinds of different experiences. So for now, we invite you to close your eyes, relax, nothing to do. And this meditation will be guided by Alkazar through Julieanne and myself. And so, beloved ones, we are with you once more. And as you relax, we suggest that you keep your eyes closed throughout this process, because the energies will be gently building within you. If you open your eyes, then the mind starts to interpret what you are seeing, and the energy within you dissipates. It is up to you. And so now we ask each one of you, just ask inside, no need to speak it out loud, just asking for the consciousness of the earth, Gaia, the energy of the earth, to come up into your body, into your energy field.
So we are calling for the consciousness, the energy of Gaia.
And just allowing for the possibility. Those who are used to energies might even feel the energy of the earth coming and connecting with you. Do not be worried if you do not feel it. The energies will be getting stronger as we move forward in the meditation. So for those of you that are familiar with the Stargate, we're going to ask you to call for a Stargate to come down around you. And for those of you who do not know what a Stargate is like, we invite you just to ask for a pyramid structure, an energetic pyramid, to come down around you.
So just asking inside is all that is needed. We are calling for the presence of an etheric Stargate, the energy of the Stargate.
And so it is going to come down around each one of you. Even if you are asking for a pyramid, Stargate consciousness will be coming to you. And just simply relaxing and asking inside for the activation of the Stargate. This is you giving your permission for the Stargate to support you in this meditation.
And so we call for the activation of all the Stargates around the world.
And as that happens, your Stargate will begin to radiate a very soft, gentle energy to you. Very soft, gentle energy, just relaxing a little deeper. And now we are going to vibrate all the Stargates. And as we vibrate them, we're going to vibrate them faster and faster. And as we do that, we are actually going to be moving the frequency up out of the third dimensional frequencies and ascending up through the different levels and dimensions. We start that process now. Nothing for you to do, just relaxing. And as we do that, your Stargate now is beginning to vibrate at the frequency ranges of the fifth dimension, and we are moving rapidly through the fifth dimensional frequencies, merging now into the sixth dimension.
Continuing vibrating into your seventh dimensional reality, where all the Stargates come to a gentle pause, and we invite you just to ask for a strong seventh dimensional energy field.
It is important for you just to ask for the Stargate and the guides in a moment. They all respond to your asking. So we are calling for a strong seventh dimensional energy field in all the Stargates around the world. And your Stargate will begin to radiate a gentle seventh dimensional frequency to you. It will start to vibrate your energy field very gently, but also it will vibrate you even on a cellular level, all the way down to your very DNA. And some of you may already know you have higher dimensional, non-physical DNA, where much of your ancient history is held. And these energies also vibrate and begin to reactivate this higher dimensional DNA. It is not something you do. It happens all by itself, just by relaxing. And as you move in this deep, relaxed state, slowly, slowly, your own energy begins to harmonize, begins to resonate with the seventh dimensional energies around you. Again, it happens all by itself, nothing to do, just the relaxation, just the allowing. Very good.
Very good. And so, beloved ones, once again, we are going to vibrate all the Stargates faster and faster. And as we do so, the energy fields are lifting up into the 8th dimensional frequencies, continuing to accelerate into the 9th.
And continuing moving faster now, merging into the 10th dimensional energetics and moving through the 10th dimensional into the 11th dimensional energies right now. And as we merge into the 12th dimensional energetics, we pause at this vibrational level.
And so we invite each one of you now to ask inside for a strong 12th dimensional energy field.
We call for a strong 12th dimensional energy field in all the stargates around the world. And as you ask, your stargate begins to radiate this higher frequency, the 12th dimensional energetics, gently radiating these energies to you, gently vibrating your energy field, gently vibrating your physical body on a very subtle cellular level, already starting to create a realignment within your body. If you are totally relaxed, then already there is a potential, a possibility that your very physical body is beginning to fine-tune itself, so to speak. Nothing to do. Your body knows. As we vibrate you at this 12th dimensional level, slowly, your vibration gently rises also. And you find that you are vibrating in harmony with these 12th dimensional energetics. And as you vibrate softly, gently, you become more sensitive to the many beings, the benevolent beings who are available to assist us in humanity's awakening. And so we would like to introduce you to a few of those in this very short meditation. We start almost always by asking you to ask from your heart, from the desire of your heart, for the presence of the angels. So just asking inside for the presence of the angelic realm.
So we call for the presence of the angels.
And as you ask, just feel, here they come. Can you feel the subtle energy changing around you as the angels bring their presence to you? You can invite them to come closer. Come closer. And just feel the presence of the angelic realm. They came simply because you asked. It is that simple. It is that easy. Just asking with intention, with desire. And so we would like to introduce you to a very beautiful energy, a divine feminine energy, divine motherly energy, whom we often call the Blessed Mother. She is the one who is known as Mary, the mother of Jesus, or Maria, if you prefer that name. And so we're going to ask you again from your heart, just wanting to feel the presence of this beautiful one, asking inside for the presence and support of the Blessed Mother Mary,
So
Maria.
we are calling for the presence of the Blessed Mother.
And as you ask, feel, here she comes, feeling her energy descending, coming around you, holding you in this divine feminine energy, divine motherly energy. You can ask her to hold you if you wish. You can ask her to bring her energy even more strongly to you. So now you are being held by the angels and the Blessed Mother.
And these 3 masters who were mentioned as meeting in the mountain, in Mount Shasta, are wishing to come because so many of you had a resonance with this meeting without truly knowing why. And so we are going to ask you first to invite the energy presence of Sanat Kamara.
So just asking inside, we call for the presence of Sunat Kamara and feel, here he comes, gently bringing his energy here. It feels a little different. It is his own unique energy presence he is bringing to this meditation. Then after a moment, he merges his energy with Mary and the angelics, creating a field of oneness around you.
And so now, the one known as Saint Germain, wishing to bring his energy here.
So each one of us asking inside for the presence and support of Saint Germain.
We call for the presence of Saint Germain.
And again, just feel Saint Germain. Here he comes. Again, the energy around you subtly changes as Saint Germain brings his energy into this global meditation, touching you with his presence, and then merging again with those who have come before.
And now, the one known as Sunanda, Jesus the Nazarene, the higher aspect.
And so each one of us asking inside for the presence of Sananda, or Jesus, if you would prefer.
We call for the presence of Sananda.
And feel, here he comes, the Master of Love. Can you feel his presence coming into this global meditation, feeling his loving energy surrounding you, vibrating you? And he too merges his presence with those who have come before, strengthening the field of oneness, a field of enlightenment, which is vibrating you right now. Relax into it.
And so these ascended masters are vibrating you, and they are inviting one more to bring her energy. She is the one known as Mary Magdalene, the beloved of Jesus the Nazarene, his twin flame. And so just asking inside.
We call for the presence of Mary Magdalene and feel, here she comes, Mary Magdalene, coming into this meditation, a very gentle, soft energy, embracing you, joining the others, creating such a loving field around you. And before we complete this meditation, we would like to introduce a few of those whom we call the star family. From civilizations around your galaxy that have become enlightened as a civilization, very often many millions of your Earth years ago. So we would like to introduce first the energy of the Pleiadians, who have a special connection to humanity.
So again, simply asking inside, we are calling for the presence of the Pleiadians.
And feel the Pleiadians. Here they come, joining us in their light bodies. These particular ones are coming from one of their craft, which is here around our Earth, the Pleiadians. Very good. Very good. An ancient race now coming in.
The ones known as the Lyrans, wishing to join you.
Asking inside for the presence of the Lyrans.
Call for the presence of the beings from Lyra.
And feel as they too bring their presence, their energy, their enlightened frequencies into this meditation, joining the masters and the angels, creating an even more vibrant field around us.
And another who is from the stars had a presence in Atlantis and later was known as a god in Egypt. He is the one, Thoth, wishing to be with you.
And so we call for the energies of Thoth and feel. Here he comes, bringing his presence into this meditation. Many of the so-called gods in your ancient civilizations are actually from the stars. So now, beloved ones, you are held in a beautiful, energetic field. Relax. Bring your awareness now to the feeling of your own energy. Just notice that your energy is vibrating at a higher frequency. You have already changed. This higher frequency is gently helping you realign to your higher self, your higher purpose, and much, much more. This is just a small taste of the Stargate work. And we thank you for sharing it with us in this moment of now. And so now, as you just acknowledge your own vibration, just very, very slowly connect with your body, feel your body, feeling present in your body. And then very, very gently, when you're ready, without rushing, allowing the eyes to come open and come fully back into the body.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. A couple of questions before we end today's call. First, my experience, I felt such a rev up in the beginning.
Mm.
It's like my body internally was shaking. And again, it was like that spinning top.
Mhm.
And then towards the end, it was so cohesive and elegant in the spin, if you will. So powerful, so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's
A
really
question.
fascinating to me just how you can drop out of the mind field into like a whole new space.
That's really impressive. And to connect with those ascended beings in that way, it's just extraordinary.
Mm.
I was curious, a question that came up during the process. What's the Galactics' interpretation or relationship with the angelics? Do they see them physically? Do they have a perception of them that they can describe to us in a way that would help us to understand better?
Well, Alcazar is going to answer this.
Hmm.
Beloved one, there are many levels or layers or types of the angelic realms. Once you move into a higher dimensional experience, you can connect with these beautiful ones. You can see them just as you see each other.
Hmm.
You have some very beautiful television programs where they are trying to introduce you to the idea of so many different types of beings. This is so important for humanity to understand. Many are humanoid forms, but there are many who are not. But they are all benevolent and caring and highly conscious, wishing to support you all. Okay. Mm.
Mhm. Thank you so much. What a beautiful invitation. And again, just relaxing the field. Y'all, it's the special offer to go into the Atlantean, the Lemurian energies, that Thanksgiving timeline reset. Y'all go deeper uh, into the Stargate and this technology that is available for all of us. It's truly extraordinary. Julieanne, Prageet, thank you so much. What a wonderful call. Um, Amazing. A lot of people writing in, no words can explain this feeling. So peaceful. I went higher and higher. Amazing. Thank you. Just it's again, so many people feeling it deeply. Um, just blessings to the work that you both are doing,
Thank you.
and sharing. And yes, I hope that you do take the time to enjoy more of those places.
Thanks. My camera has a mind of its own. It has like gesture tracking, but I forgot to. You have to toggle it off every time it did like a software update.
I
Anyway,
totally get it. Yeah.
enjoy our living room.
Enjoying the living room, enjoying the transmission, enjoying being in your presence. Thank you so much.
We
Thank you
really
for everything that you
appreciate it.
did.
Thank you so much,
And
John.
it's so cool to feel how the field has shifted over the years. And you mentioned that you go into bliss states. I can feel that in your field right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's alive. It's alive.
Mm.
I'm trying to learn how to hold it steadier and longer.
Well, a
It,
special thank you also to the audience who are sharing
yes.
with us now and in the future.
Oh, I just heard Alcazar just saying, beloved, simply enjoy the heartbeat of your evolution. It is awakening in its lived presence.
Mm.
Even what you think of as turbulence is simply your field readjusting to a higher level. And if you do not believe us, go and look at your cymatics, the visualizations of sound on water or sand. Every time it is about to make a jump, it seems to be a chaos. And so we give this image that your spiraling top is actually spiraling upward. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank everybody for being here. It's like we all did this for each other. We amplified the field for one another. So thank you. Blessings to each and every one of you. And I bow to you and namaste. I look forward to seeing you on the next call. Prageet, Julieanne. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll talk to y'all soon.